Hey, badass business owners, let's talk about something I love to talk about every single year, and that is how to increase your sales. Now, this is usually the time of year that people are looking at ways to increase their sales. Maybe they want to finish the year strong. Maybe they want to go into next year with a lot of new ideas. It could be the fact that you're listening to this in the middle of the year and you're thinking of ways to grow your sales. It still works no matter when you listen to this. At the end of the day, sales come down to three things. The first thing is creating new customers. The second thing is creating repeat business with the customers that you have. And the third thing is your ticket average. So if you want to increase your sales, you either have to get more people coming in, you have to get people to come back more often, or you have to get them to spend more money. That's basically the premise of the entire thing. Typically, when we are looking to brainstorm ideas, we kind of put it all together and we try to come up with ideas and we just feel like we're not getting anything. My experience has been that if you focus on each bucket individually, the ideas flow much better, because sometimes you may look at your business and say, you know what, I've got these people coming back on a regular basis, or my people can only shop once in the blue moon. They can only use my services every 6 months or every 5 years in some cases. So getting them to come back more often isn't as much of a priority for me. But what I need is new people coming through the doors, in which case you're going to focus on bucket number one, increasing your current customers. And other times you're going to say, look, I can't pick up any more customers at this stage. I just need them to spend more money, in which case you're going to focus on the bucket that has to do with increasing your average ticket. And if you happen to be in a business where it's like, look, I wish I could get these people to use me more often than what they're using me, then you're going to focus on customer frequency. So you can see each of the three buckets have their time and place based off of what your business's needs are. So let's take a closer look at each of these buckets and some of the ideas that you might be able to come up with. Because really, there's only so many ideas within each bucket, but how you implement that idea and how you make it personal to your particular business is the key to the entire thing. So if we take the first one, increasing your customer count, which is getting more customers, what can you do within that bucket? Think about your business and start thinking about different ideas that you can do to get new customers in. For some people, they might say, well, I need to look at doing some flyers, or I need to look at targeting my ideal customer, or I need to look at doing advertising, or I need to look at my website, or I need to look at my Google page, because when people are Googling, can they find me? There's so many different things that you can do that will bring in new customers. Now, some people will also run promotions, things that they think, hey, I can't get that customer. Now, a word of caution on this one, and I said something earlier, and it's important that we hear. Focusing on your ideal customer. Do not go out and try to brainstorm into this category of getting new customers with the idea that you're going to get everybody. You need to be laser focused on this. For example, I was talking to someone who has a home inspection business, and in his home inspection business, a big part of his business are new builds. While the market is soft today, about 10 months ago or so, the business was crazy out there for real estate, and a lot of people bought new builds. Well, what better group of people to target right now than people that are coming up on their 1-year warranty? They would love to be able to have a home inspector come in, look at their entire house, come up with the list for them that they can hand over to the builder. That's a great group of people to focus on for the next few months while the market is soft. And then when the market starts to pick up, he can obviously go out and start targeting the other individuals that are purchasing a home. But for right now, why focus on people that have low likelihood of buying as opposed to focusing on people that could use the services right now today based off of their particular situation? So it's all about thinking about the time, who's the ideal customer that you're going after, who's going to make a big difference in your business. For example, when you're looking at your business for next year, are there certain types of people that you would love to be able to have in your business or to bring in? That's what you want to create those ideas when you're brainstorming around how to get new customers. Now, something that a lot of people forget that falls into this bucket are your referrals from other customers. Believe it or not, that brings in a lot of new business for you, is when people are out there raving about your business, telling their friends, telling people everything about you. Whenever they see somebody asking, hey, who do you recommend? They jump right in and bring your business up. Don't ever forget those people when you're doing your brainstorming. How can you get your current customers, the people that love you, how can you get them referring your business out more? That's a great one that sometimes you can sit down with, maybe create a referral type of business, maybe offer them something if they bring in a new customer for you. But don't forget to put that in your bucket of finding new customers. You don't always have to go out and find new people. If you think about it, new people to your business, they're what they call cold customers. They're cold leads. They don't know anything about you. They don't know anything about your business. They're giving you a chance. However, when your current customers are recommending you, they slowly become a warm lead because they are getting introduced to your company before they ever use your company. So when they come in, they're more likely to use you because they've heard these wonderful, great things. So finding new customers is one of the hardest things to do, mainly because it's cold. People don't know you. They don't know anything about you. So where you can leverage the people that know you really well and know your business really well, the more it's going to help you. So when you're brainstorming this bucket of creating new customers, focus on two main things: ideal customer and how can you leverage your existing customers to help you be able to help find those new customers. But there's tons of ideas that you can do. You just want to keep them tied to those two subjects when you can, because it's going to help increase your odds. All right, bucket number 2 is increasing your customer frequency, getting people to come back more often. Now, for some businesses that are done every 3-4 years, yeah, that's a little bit difficult. However, don't discount those people even if they are 3 years apart. Put something in place that allows you to be able to follow up with them when they start getting to year 2 or 3 to say, hey, can I use you again? Or are you looking to have this service done again? We would love to help you out. A must-have in those types of businesses are great follow-up systems so you can remind them, because honestly, do you always remember who you used 3-4 years ago? No, you don't. So your best bet is to make sure that you do follow up with them to remind them that you're the person who gave them such a wonderful experience the first time they had to get it done. Another way that this can be used is maybe you have a service that's used every year, or maybe you have a service that they could use several times a year. However, there's a great time for you to do that same reminder system. Think of carpet cleaning, for example. Carpet cleaning has a spike when you get into the later months of the year. However, you can have your carpet cleaned multiple times throughout the year. However, if you do a promotion where you reach back to the people that had their carpets cleaned for the holidays the year before, the odds are they're holding entertainment parties this year as well at their home, and they probably have just forgotten on their crazy list of things to do to get the carpets cleaned. So if you send out a reminder to them, it would pick up that business as well. Now, for some of you, your business is based on them coming back at least once a week, if not multiple times a week. When I had my ice cream shop, obviously I wanted them to come back every week. And for some of those diehards, I wanted them to come back multiple times in the week. I had to focus on ways for them to be able to do that. And by the way, great customer service and a great experience are probably two of the biggest things that cause people to come back multiple times, especially if you have a food establishment or anything like that. When people have the opportunity to say, where do you want to go? And it's like, oh my God, I could eat at so-and-so's 50 times if I could. It's because of the experience and the food that causes them to do that. If they didn't like the food or they didn't like the experience, trust me, they would not come back as often as they do. So if you have that type of business, ask yourself, what can you do better to get them come back more often? Another thing that some people do is they use those bounce back coupons or things that say, hey, if you come back this week, we'll give you half off of something, or here's a special every Tuesday. I used Tuesdays for family night and we had discounted ice cream. Well, guess what? The same families came back every single week to be able to do that. Is that ideal because they're not paying as much? No. But if that's the only time I'm going to get them, then I'll take the little bit of profit that they give me versus the full price that I never would have gotten if they didn't come at all. So think about your business when you're thinking about customer frequency. What are some things that you can do to get them to come back more often? And the key to this one is going to be great customer service and great experience. The other thing that's really key in this particular thing is letting them know. Have a setup where you follow up with these people every single year, or at least every 2 to 3 years based off of the type of business. That's the key to this particular bucket. Now, our final bucket is getting them to spend more money. For many people, the first thought is, well, I got to raise my prices. The only way I can get them to spend more money is to raise my prices. And that is not true. There are a lot of ways for you to raise your ticket. Now, obviously, yes, raising your prices is one of the quickest, fastest ways to get more money, to increase your sales. It's also one of the best things you can do to increase your profits is to raise your prices, because there's no other costs involved to be able to do that in most cases. However, sometimes your prices are where your prices are, but you still want to get them to spend more money, in which case you're going to have to be more creative. This is where you're looking at, can you bundle things together? You're already there. So are there other services that you can provide when you're at somebody's house? For example, can you say, hey, I know today we're here cleaning off the house with our pressure washer. How about if we, for an extra $100, we can get up there and clean out those gutters really good as well? That's an add-on item that you can do. Some people have warranties that they can add on, saying, hey, we'll extend our warranty from 6 months to a year for an extra $50 or an extra $25, whatever the case may be. The other thing you can do is, if you have a service, is there a product that you can sell along with that they can use? I'll use the carpet cleaning one I had earlier. Is there some carpet cleaner that you can sell them at the time of the service that they can use in the meantime, or something they can sprinkle down when they're vacuuming in between cleanings? That's just a product that you sell as an add-on. And if you have a brick and mortar store, don't ever discount those chip clips, those little strips of extra items, add-on items that you find on the beams at some stores. Registers, think about it. When was the last time you went to any register that you weren't bombarded with 50 million little things that you could pick up and throw in your cart? The reason grocery stores do that, and they have all the candy, chips, and soda at the front, is because that is high profit stuff, and they think that you'll pick it up and throw that in the cart. So yes, they got $2 more out of that transaction, but they also got about 70% to 80% profit off of those items that you threw in at the last minute as well. So add-on items are a huge thing. Warranties are a huge thing. Bundling stuff together is another great way for you to increase your average ticket. So look at all those different things when you're brainstorming and ask yourself, how can I get these people to spend more money when they're out there? So as you can see, there's a lot of different items, and I just barely touched on them all because I'm just doing these off the top of my head. I'm not even looking at a list. But I promise you, if you sit there and you just focus on one bucket at a time, you're going to find that you can brainstorm a lot of great creative ideas for your particular business. And there's going to be a fourth column that you put together, which is a combination of the two, because there's times when you can get people to come back more often and spend more money. So you can combine the buckets at the same time. But I find that if you focus on each bucket individually to start with, then you can start blending them together because those creative juices are already going. Now, you're probably wondering, what do you do if you go through this exercise? I promise you, you're going to have 20 to 50 different items of different things that you can do. However, I will promise you, there's only a handful of them that are going to seem like they're the best things for you to do. Let the energy flow. Just write them down no matter how stupid you think they are, even if you don't have the resources. Brainstorm them all out, because at the end of that is when you're going to narrow that list down. I forgot to mention that earlier. So please, whenever you're doing the exercise, just let them all come out. Let's say you create a list of 15 things that you think that you can do in your business. Now go back and ask yourself, what are the top 3? What are the 3 items or combination of items that you can do that are going to help you increase your sales? Because you can't go out there. It's unrealistic for you to think that you're going to tackle all 15 of these items. However, if you take 1 and run with it, it's going to make a huge difference. If you take 2 and run with it, it's going to make a huge difference. Doing more than 3 is just crazy because you're really going to execute none of them. Matter of fact, you might say, this idea I'm going to do in quarter 1, this idea I'm going to do in quarter 2, this idea in quarter 3, 1 in quarter 4. You get the idea. But whatever you do, don't overwhelm yourself, because then you're going to end up with the same effect of doing nothing. What you want to do is you want to take that brainstorm list, get it down to a good 1 to 3 items, and then figure out the plan of how you're going to execute it. And as you've probably heard me mention, don't think of all the reasons why you can't do it. Because once you've narrowed down to the top 3, now's the time to focus on how can you do it. Because your brain wants to try to solve puzzles. So when you start looking at it as what has to be true, what needs to happen in order for me to make this happen, you're going to find solutions to a lot of those roadblocks that you think you have today. A lot of times people will stunt their growth, if you will, for their sales because they think of all the reasons why they can't do it. And I don't want you to think of all the reasons why you can't do it. I want you to start thinking of, hey, this is a great idea. I know I can grow my business. What needs to be true in order for me to do it, to make it happen? That's how you want to look at that. We've covered a lot of stuff today. And what I want you to do is I want you to grab some paper and I want you to do this exercise. If you're driving right now, obviously I don't want you to do it at the moment, but try to sometime in the next 24 hours, 48 hours if you can, sit there and just brainstorm for next year. Just, hey, what would be some great ideas for me to increase the number of customers that I have? What would be some great ideas for me to increase the frequency of these customers coming back? And what are some great ideas for me to increase how much money that each of the customers on the average ticket, what they're making? And then narrow that list down. You may find that you don't need any new customers. There's only one you, and you can't afford any more customers. In which case, how can you get them to spend more money? How can you get them to come back more often? I think you're going to find this is a very healthy exercise for you, and it's really going to help you increase your sales. I have watched it do miracles for a lot of different people, because when you do it without really putting those roadblocks on, you come up with some really good stuff that's out there, things that you might not have normally thought about. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this puppy up. Get out there, brainstorm some ideas on how you're going to grow your sales next year, over the next few months, whichever way you're doing it, and how you're going to make more money. And by the way, don't forget that if you ever want to learn your business numbers better, there is a course in the show notes where I help walk you through how to understand your P&L and a whole bunch of other business numbers. With that, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now.